Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
On behalf of Whitetail Rendezvous, this is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and I want to say thank you to everybody for making 2016 a banner year. Why? Because we went over 100,000 iTunes downloads. Why? Because we had over 300 guests on the show. And talking about the show, sometimes my guests are in a tree stand, sitting in a pickup truck on the top of a hill, or just don't have great bandwidth to pick up the recording. So I apologize for that. We're doing the best we can, but this is a real show with real people in real places.
This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 312.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and we're heading down to the heart of NASCAR country. Yes, sir, we're heading to Mooresville, North Carolina, around the Lake Norman area. We're going to visit with Ron Tabor. Now, Ron has an outdoor show called One Mission Outdoor TV. He's written some books. He's done a bunch of things with Double Deuce Lodge, coordinator for Wild Wildebeest Lodge in South Africa. He's into it, and he's just a guy that got his own contracting company down there and just loves the outdoors, loves paying it forward, and would love to talk to Tim Tebow. So, Tim, if you're listening, give Ron Tabor a call. With that, welcome to the show, Ron Tabor. Hey, listeners, don't forget to text 33444 Food Plot for your free Food Plot ebook. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, it's right before Christmas, so everybody, listeners out there, you'll be hearing this after Christmas, but Merry Christmas to you. Hey, folks, this morning we're going to head down to Mooresville, North Carolina, kind of around the Lake Norman area and the heart of NASCAR. So any NASCAR fans, you know exactly where Lake Norman is. And we're welcome to the show, Mr. Ron Tabor. Ron, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, and I'm just thinking, I'm sitting out here in Southern California, folks, for Christmas with my daughter and grandson and son-in-law, and it just poured all night. And I was talking to Ron, and why don't you tell me about your duck holes?
Our duck blinds. We're in such a drought. Our lake is down about 8 foot, and I may be exaggerating a little bit on that, but we have 3 special blinds that we built out on Lake Norman, and we can't hunt them because this year they're on ground, and the lake's so far from the blind we can't get to the ducks. And last year there was so much water in the lake that we couldn't walk to the blind because the water was over our waders. So we were at one extreme or the other. So
wow,
duck hunting season's been challenging for sure, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Hey, let's start off the show with the tradition of hunting, and you shared with me in the warm-up about your grandfather. So let's just start the show off with that, and tell the listeners what the time when your grandfather meant to you.
Oh, chokes me up. Wow. Anyway, that wasn't planned, by the way. I had a very, very special grandfather, and he was my father's father, and my father didn't take a big part of my life, but my father's father did. And I spent about 17 summers with him, winters, springs, at a place called Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. And it was basically a marina, but that's what we called our summer camp. And that's what we did. That's all we did was hunt, fish, ride motorcycles, and just be a kid. And it was the best. Those are the best memories of my life. And during all that time, with all the hunting and the fishing and the cooking catfish on the front porch on a cast iron skillet or whatever it may be, I realized something a few years back. My granddad just wasn't taking me hunting. He wasn't just taking me fishing. He wasn't just feeding me. He was teaching me life lessons the entire time. Everything about life. and how to live it, and how to have integrity and character and honesty, and just all the traits that you want as a man, and my faith, you know. So I'm very blessed to have had those experiences and still have all those pictures from that time.
No,
he was an awesome man.
You know, everybody has struggles, everybody has bumps in the road, or call it what you want. So what did he teach you young, so when those days came, those dark days came, that you could just plow through?
Well, yeah, it's funny. He just, one time I remember him telling me, Ron, just always remember, there's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs. But during the downs, you just got to look up. It was pretty simple. He made everything so simple. It was amazing. But of course, you know, and all these lessons have taught me through the years. And the cool thing about this story, and I'll just tell people, my poor granddad really didn't know what he was doing. And if he could see me now, he would be so proud. And if I had one wish, I would sit with my granddad in a big, you know, tower ground blind with a 243 that I bought in memory of my mother and my grandfather. And that's what I would do. I would guide my grandfather because he never got to shoot a buck. Isn't that something?
Wow. You know, I'm sitting here kind of thinking, as we talked to the warm up, you know, the guys that have poured life into me and taught me life lessons. And, you know, I got to, you know, Harry Shearer, you know, we hunted a lot, and Otto Knight, you know, caught a lot of trout in his trout stream and stuff like that. So I did, you know, I remember in Field and Stream, Old Men and a Boy, I used to read that every single month when that came out in Field and Stream. And
Robert Rourke?
Yeah. And
I got that in memory of my granddad.
Yeah, and
that book.
When you think about that, you know, it's Christmas time, folks, so we're thinking about family. But you know, there's men in my life that poured in life to me, just like your grandfather did. And I understand. And sitting there, listen to you reminisce.
Yeah. Yeah, my sweet mother's right beside me. She just had knee surgery. She's been in the hospital 3 days, and we're getting her back now. I am stopped. I'm not driving and talking, and we're going to get her meds. But I have a lot to thank to my mother giving me all those. I mean, she just had the synergy with my grandfather to teach me all the qualities of to be a man and how to love people, you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah, when you're out there hunting, you mentioned you're a man of faith, and when you're out there hunting, what do you think you're learning out there?
Really? You know, somebody that actually came up yesterday. The biggest thing is I'm learning to be still. I cannot be still very much, but out there I can be still. And it seems like all the ambient noise that's around me, it's just blocked out. And I can hear God when I'm out there, regardless of whether I see animals or anything else. And the appreciation is, if you don't get excited or get jacked up to watch a sunrise, or to hear footsteps in the woods, or to watch the squirrels, or everything that was created, you miss the big picture. That's what it's about.
Yeah, say that again, you know, for our listeners across North America.
To me, going in the outdoors is not about the harvest. It's not about how big the horns are. It's not about, you know, the ego. It's about the appreciation to me, and I'm not putting my beliefs on anybody. It's not how big that buck was. It's not how big that bear was. It's not what I got. If I went out there and I had a beautiful day, and most of them are beautiful, and I got to watch the sunrise, I got to use my legs to get up in a tree stand, and a lot of people can't. I got to hear the birds, or I got a squirrel to come up the tree beside me just to talk to me, just to look at me and talk to me. That's what I kind of say. Just come up and talk to me. And just that whole beauty of it, that's what overwhelms me and makes me go back. It's the majestic part of it. And you know what? When the big buck's on the ground and it happens, I told another friend of mine this, I was chosen to be able to harvest that animal. For him to put that animal in front of me at a particular time, especially when you go out there and you don't expect anything to happen. I mean, you go with expectation, but that's when the most majestic things happen, is when I'm least expecting it. And that's when I really do. I pray in my mind and just, you know, think about everything I should be thankful for and all that stuff. I mean, and I'm human too, don't get me wrong. I get disappointed sometimes, you know. I may have, you know, seen a big buck and thinking I'm going to see him, and maybe I don't. But listen, when I get down from that tree and my feet hit that ground and I smell them leaves and I get to walk out, it's been a good day, and I got what I went to go get. that's just what it is to me.
And thanks for sharing. And let's switch it up a little bit and let people know how to get a hold of you. Should they want to follow up with you, send you an email, or just reach out to you?
Primarily the best way is on Facebook. I've got, actually, I work for a hunting lodge too, out in Missouri, and he's also got a place in Africa. But if you want to find me, my picture, I've got a white beard. People call me St. Nick right now. But anyway, I've got a Tim Tebow jersey on, and in the background it says Wild Wildebeest Lodge. That's the lodge I work for in South Africa. You can find me there. And under that, I've got a One Mission _TV Facebook page. That's my ministry, basically. Then my contracting company, and I'm writing a book on a spiritual journey that I've been on for 5 years called 333 Lifer 2. That's on there. And then also a lodge for Wild Wildebeest. And I'm also on Twitter at One Mission outdoor _TV.
Okay, say that again. One Mission
_TV. That's on Twitter. Yes, sir. Okay. But just Ron Tabor. You'll see me with a Tim Tebow jersey on, and I got a big white goatee. You can't miss me.
Hey, for those people out there that, say, we both know filming is huge with all the equipment and the ease, to get something out on YouTube, Roku, the Gen 7 people. So there's a lot of people that just want to save the memories. Let's talk about your starting at and some of the filming, some of the companies you've filmed for.
Well, it was just a few small shows. I'll tell you how I got into it. I actually booked a trip to a hunting lodge in the low country of South Carolina. And anyway, during that time, and this is very ironic because that place stays slammed. When I booked the trip, there was a TV show there filming, and we were the only guys, me, the cameraman, and the host. So I befriended both of those guys real well, but I gleaned a lot of things from the cameraman, and it sparked such an interest and took me to another level. I said, Ron, you need to start getting this stuff on tape. Now, I don't film every time, but I film a lot of my memories, like my trip to Texas or, my bear hunts. So we've had about 4 or 5 bear hunts that have filmed. Some of them got aired on the Outdoor Channel, so forth and so on. And a good friend of mine, African-American, wonderful guy, one of my good friends. His name is Bub Jackson, and a lot of people in the outdoor industry know him. And I filmed with him and his partner. So that's how it started, and I loved it. And crazy thing, the first time I ever got on the Outdoor Channel, I got to film with Bub. We went out to go hog hunting. We were turkey hunting and hog hunting down in the low country of South Carolina. And when I got in the tree, he gave me the gun. And I was like, and I had the camera. He goes, give me the camera. And he said, hold my gun. And he took the camera. I said, well, what's this? What do you mean? He goes, dude, you're not filming me. I'm going to film you. And don't you know, we got blessed with 2 hogs that come out. It's a crazy thing. I thought I looked like a goofball on TV because I got so jacked up. But 2 little hogs came out right at dark, and they were doing circles, and we were bickering back and forth about which one was the biggest. And you know what? That little bit of time that it took for us to bicker, this great big boar come up out of this swamp. He come right through the woods like a bear, and that's the one we harvested. And he was probably about 300 pounds, big boar hog, big, Russian strain with the hair, the big tusks. And you talking about exciting. When he filmed me, you can't fake that. That's why I like to film, especially people. One, you got to know if they're good on camera, but you want to catch the true people, especially experience something for the first time. You can't fake that. It's beautiful. So,
yeah, he was smart because he didn't set you up. I mean, he set you up because that was his plan all along. And all of a sudden, you got the gun, he's got the camera going, oh, it's on, and you can't think about it. You just got to do what you do.
Yeah, and he was, and the way I looked at it, he was so selfless. He knew he's harvested many things. He's basically a professional hunter, and he's harvested so many things. And I guess our mentalities were the same. And he said he got more excited watching me experience it for the first time than it would be for him. And I've taken that philosophy all through my hunting career. I want to watch people do things that I've already gotten to do, to let them have the experience. Turkey guiding to me, and I've turkey guided, is so incredible because I'm playing chess. They just pulled the trigger. I've done tricked the bird. I got what I went for, you know?
Interesting. You mentioned in the warm-up fly fishing and the challenge of fly fishing, and I used to do fly fishing for a guy that owned an Orvis shop, and I guided. And I got more enjoyment of getting a person that really hadn't done much fly fishing, get them on the water, get them put presentation down, and then watching that fish rise and watching him catch or her catch, their first trout on a fly, or teaching them how to nymph fish, which is pretty difficult. And and watching the guy, I remember Tommy O'Connor, he's from the East Coast, just a great guy. And Tommy, if you ever hear this, you were a blast. And he did okay on the surface and attractive flies and like that. And then I said, "You really want to learn how to fly fish?" He goes, "Heck yeah!" And so I get him on a run, and I could see the fish on the bottom feeding. And because when they feed, you see the inside of their lips. It's white. So you can tell by how they're feeding what they're eating. Anyway, long story short, I said, okay, here's what you do. Just watch me. I'm going to drift. And then you see his mouth open, just lift.
That's it.
Don't yank. Mm-hmm. All you do is just lift. And he says, really? I said, yeah, okay, you try it. And, he'd stumble and kind of, do it too soon, get excited, and then all of a sudden he does it, and just the smile on his face was worth $1 million. I transferred some knowledge, and that's just like your grandfather did for you. He transferred so much, but when you see the joy come to a person's face when they do something brand new because they're into it, they want to be successful doing it, and all of a sudden there it is, and it's just folks, hopefully you've all experienced that of sharing your skills with somebody else, and that's what's part of the show Whitetail Rendezvous, transfer knowledge from me and from all my guests to you. So someday you're going to be someplace and it's going to happen for you. You're going to close the door on a big buck on your hit list or whatever, and then you're just going to go, wow, this really does work.
Yep. It's all about paying it forward. I actually was in the Big Brother program for years. My little brother with the United Way, he's 27. And just, once we got hooked up and everything was good, I taught him how to fly fish. We did go squirrel hunting, but that wasn't his thing because he loved animals, which I understand. But he loved fishing. We went deep sea fishing. We went camping. And, he just had a little boy. His little boy's about 4 or 5, and out of the blue, he called me up and said, "Ron, would you take us camping and fishing, for his little boy?" And I said, absolutely, anytime. I don't push anything on anybody, but this is what he's 27 years old now, and he's ready for it. I mean, he wants it. And he said to me, and this is not for my glory or anything else, but I loved what he said to me one time. He goes, "Ron, if I wouldn't have had you in my life, I don't know what I would have done." So I encourage anybody, if you want to get involved, be a big brother or big sister. The blessing's not theirs. The blessing's yours. Serving them blesses you. I got to be a kid every time I took him out.
Well said.
So I guess I'll be an uncle granddad or something like that. I mean, I'll be a great uncle.
Some of the people call me Uncle Bruce, so understand exactly where you're coming from. Let's switch it up and talk about lessons learned on whitetails. Did you hunt this fall?
I have been to Missouri for 10 days. Crossbow hunting. I went to Tennessee for about 5. I'm leaving out Christmas night to go to Texas for the last week. I hit the rut just great in Tennessee. Missouri was slow. The lodge is great. The animals are there. It's up in Putman and Mercer County on the Iowa border. They were hitting a few nice deer, but it got hot, and we all know it's about weather. Still had a great time. Again, it's got to have that appreciation for the outdoors. The animals are there. I'm talking the 160s, 170s, 180s all day long. Just couldn't get on a shooter, and that's just part of the game. But that's what keeps me going back. I will get one.
What has whitetail hunting taught you?
There's so many things. Whitetail hunting is probably what gets me the most because of their beauty. I love watching them. Do their natural thing in the wild. And really, that's what excites me. It teaches me responsibility to the animal. It teaches me respect. I personally love eat everything that I shoot, but I think it's organic, it's healthy, it's given to us by God, and I love it. Just the excitement, just to watch them is such a beautiful thing, and the experiences I've had of how close I've been to them, or watching them. Of course, the rut is the most exciting. Watching them do their thing. It's just so many things. I couldn't even put it in words what it means to me. I mean, I love it, and that's what's really the thing that's inspired me or kept me going is whitetail hunting. I mean, I don't get obsessed with it like I used to. Life's about a balance. You can't let it overtake you in your priorities. But man, when I go, I get all I can because I love it that much. The camaraderie.
You mentioned a rut. Now, why do you like to hunt the rut so much?
Because you never know what you're going to see. I mean, you may get one from 3 miles away that you never caught on camera. Just to watch them guys with their nose to the ground and him get stupid, because a whitetail is a smart animal. I don't care what anybody says, but that rascal, when the rut happens, he just tends to get a little stupid. He takes a few risks that he shouldn't have taken, but that's just part of it. That's part of life. I hate to say it, that's men. In general, sometimes we don't make the best choices when it comes to the ladies, and of course I have the most respect for ladies, but that rut time, I don't know, I just love it. I love seeing the sign. Because that's what gets me jacked up, is knowing he's in there, but am I going to get on him? Am I going to see him? Sometimes he may just show me a flash. I call them the ghosts. These things are ghosts. How they get around like they do and hide with them big old horns beats anything I've ever seen. I don't think anybody can ever explain it. I mean, you'll be sitting there and the leaves are dry. It's the middle of November, and all of a sudden there he is. Where'd he come from? Good God. Hey, that's what my buddy says. What does he say? He goes, "Lookie here, lookie here." And that's what I've been saying when I see him. When I see it, especially a nice one, either an old one or, I like to harvest the old deer. I want the big, old, mature, or even a big old cold buck. I shot a 5-point, a big rack on a 4-point on the one side and a nub on the second. Truly a cold buck. He was at least 4.5, but he might as well have been a 160. He had me so excited, Brett, chasing one around. It was awesome. I'm living it right now in my mind.
Yeah. Do you do all day sits?
Well, I sometimes in the Upper Peninsula I've done all day sits. I'm a big proponent, I guess is the word, of the moon. That moon phase, I don't book a trip. I book every trip, whether it's duck hunting, fishing, or anything around the moon. And if it's that full moon, you better sit your tail out there all day, because there ain't no telling. If they're rutting and you're seeing them chasing, you better sit there all day. Yes, I've done them, and they're tough. Sun up to sundown. I did 3 in a row up in the UP of Michigan, and that's like being in Alaska. You don't see a lot, but let me tell you, when you see one, you generally see a stud. But again, it comes to that patience, I mean, but we've got this technology now, and I don't know if it's good or bad, where we can sit there and kind of kill time, with our phones or Twitter or Facebook and all that stuff, and taking pictures. I like to document everything I'm doing. But even I've read an article on this. If people would put down their phones, they would be amazed at how many more deer they would see, because they're just not paying attention. But again, my theory is this: if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And most of the time, all the time, I'm not even saying most of the time, all the time, it happens when I least expect it.
Agreed. And one guy long time ago shared with me, Bruce, my success, 90% of my success is showing up, being prepared, all the other stuff, but I have to show up, whether, it's in the wilds of British Columbia or fishing the flat someplace, you have to be there. And I guess this is my 2 cents on what Ron just shared. If you're not there, it's not going to happen. You can dream, you can watch all the film channels you want, you can read all the books, but if you're not out there, and out there, might be 22 below zero. I did that for 5 days to get my Saskatchewan buck. 5 days outside at 22 degrees below zero, but I had a goal. I wanted to do it. I knew he'd come. If I was there, I knew I'd get him, and I shot up, a very nice mature buck up in Canada. But I had to be there. So that's my, as we wind up 2016 culmination and everything. You just got to be there. Your thoughts on that, Ron?
First of all, it's a waiting game, and you're right. The word that stood out to me a minute ago was success. This is my analogy of success. I can't tell the deer to be there. I can't tell the 180 class to be there. I've never shot anything over 155. I've seen them, but I can't make the deer do that. But you know what I can do? I can prepare. I can learn. I can spend as much time in the woods, because the woods, to me, teach me more than anything about a book. I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I agree with books and knowledge and wildlife biology and all that stuff. But the bottom line is, especially with turkey hunting or whitetails or any of that, they're going to teach you more about the outdoors than anything else. What a hen really sounds like. The different sounds. A buck makes a clicking noise in his throat that goes tick, 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 tick. And a lot of people take that for a woodpecker. And I've seen a guy that makes calls where you can tap that thing, and that's a location call. But anyway, back to success. What is success, really? One, you're right, it is showing up. Two, it's when what's the saying? It's when preparation and opportunity come together and you capitalize. That's success. But success may be that first doe. Success may be that little 4-pointer for that 6-year-old. That's success. You harvest anything, that's success.
Agreed. Hey, when I asked you to send my bio, you sent me this Tim Tebow jersey. I'm thinking that you were in Tebow jersey. Is that correct?
Wear it all the time.
So what's up with you and Tebow? Are you buddies or?
No, I want to be, because I've been writing him. So if anybody knows Tim Tebow, please have him call me. I need Harry Connick Jr. to call me too. I need a few people. The guy who wrote The Shack. I need the Kendrick brothers, who's written all the Christian movies. Here's really where it started. It only started a couple months ago. I've always had the utmost respect for him when he played for Denver. He would kneel at the sidelines. He got so much scrutiny and so much bad, media, and he's doing the most beautiful thing. I don't get it. But anyway, when Harry Connick Jr. interviewed him on, and everybody needs to Google this video, when Harry Connick Jr. interviewed Tim Tebow about the game he played for a certain game on June 8th, 2009 for Miami, and he put the black under his eyes and he put John 3:16. Well, anyway, 3 years later, he's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, black under his eyes. In memory of that game 3 years earlier, he put 3:16 under his eyes, okay? So he's asking Tim Tebow about the game. And Tim, they call him Timmy. Timmy's talking, and he basically says that the media guy comes up to him, and he's got this little thing where he tells the crowd, how I like talking to the media. But anyway, he goes, he was telling the story about his media guy coming up to him. He goes, Tim, do you know what happened today? He goes, yeah, man, we just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in a playoff game. He goes, no, Tim, do you really know what happened? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, you know the John 3:16 under your eyes? He said, do you know that and I'm not going to get all these verbatim, I wrote them down, but he basically said 6 things, and I don't know all 6, but he said, do you know that you threw for 316 yards, that your yards per rush were 3.16, that the percentage ratings were 31.6? I mean, I can go on and on. There was about 6. And his very last thing says, coincidence or big God? I say big God. So, do I like the Denver Broncos? Nope. But I love Tim Tebow because he's got the same mission as I do. I just need to hook up with him, folks. So everybody asks me when I wear that.
We'll just lay it down, and if you do know him, Ron, what's your email address, Ron?
It's RON_Tabor, TABOR, at Mindspring, MINDSPRING.com. Yeah, I've tweeted Harry, I've tweeted Timmy. I actually worked for a Harry show. I used to be in a theatrical. I used to work in theater when I was going to college, and I took my mom to a beautiful show of Harry's, and then I worked his show. So just need one of them to call me back, but that's okay. I love Tim Tebow. I love wearing his jersey because people ask me about it all the time, and that's my witnessing tool. I said, no, I'm not a Denver fan. I'm a Tebow fan all day long.
So of all the things you've hunted, what is your favorite?
Honestly, it's got to be whitetails. I mean, there's nothing more majestic than a whitetail. I mean, again, I haven't done a lot of things that I want to do. I still haven't done a mule deer, still haven't done an antelope, I still haven't done an elk, I haven't done a moose, but I've done the bear, the turkeys, the boars, the whitetail, the javelinas. I still haven't got to the western game because it's just so expensive. to be honest with you. And I'm just a small time working man like everybody else. And people ask me what I do, and I tell them I build tents. I'm an exterior roofing contractor, or Renovations. I just build tents. I build tents to do the things I love to do. And I love my job, though. Don't get me wrong. I love helping people.
Hey, we're at the time of the show. Okay. We're at the time of the show. We're coming up on the soft stop. So take a minute or two, give some shout outs, then we'll wrap the show.
Okay. I definitely want to give a shout out to some good friends of mine that I work for out at the Double Deuce Ranch in Powersville, Missouri, and also the Wild Wildebeest Lodge in South Africa. The Helbing family is a beautiful family. I love them dearly, and have always been so gracious to me. I've been with them since 2001. Special shout out to my little brother, Ryan Mulcahy, down in Aiken, South Carolina. A friend of mine, Bub Jackson, in Williamsburg, Virginia. I'd like to give a special shout out to Tim Tebow and Harry Connick Jr. Well, my sweet mother's right here, so she's already got a shout out. And to my sweet, precious grandfather, way up above, who would probably say, "Man, this rocks." And I'd say, all because of you.
Well said.
Yep. Every time I spend that money, I go, and somebody says, "Dang, that was expensive," or "You got this gear or that." And I said, "Thank my granddad." Special man.
As we said in the warm, I'm just laughing because 50 years ago I was in college in Wisconsin, and I'll just keep this short. And so I went whitetail hunting first time at my buddy's family farm. So I met Harry Schur, his brother-in-law, and Harry started spinning these stories. He was hunting out west in the 60s.
Gotcha.
And he started telling me these stories, and so years go by, and so I'd make it back there for his birthday or whatever, and I'd said, "Harry, do you know how much money you cost me?"
Yeah, a lot. Hey,
because I've been blessed to hunt all over North America, and it's just, I just laugh, and my wife looks at Harry and she goes, "Thanks a lot, Harry."
Well, that's pretty much it. I do have one more special shout out that I forgot. I'm on the committee at the Delta Waterfowl Foundation of Lake Norman. We got a beautiful banquet on February 18th, 2017, and I'll be working that. I'm actually donating a hunt if we get all the logistics for the Safari Club for the South African location to the banquet. So if anybody's in the area and is looking for a great cause, they do a lot of fundraising, do special things with children, women, in the outdoors. Between shoots, they do the wood boxes on Lake Norman. Just a special shout out to those guys, because they couldn't be any more wonderful, and a wonderful group of people to connect with who love the outdoors. And it's not just about waterfowl. Don't get me wrong. These guys just love the outdoors, and that's what makes them so special. So to you guys, man, you're awesome.
So again, one more time, it's Thursday, the 22nd of December. Anyway, Ron Tabor, Merry Christmas to you and your family on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America. For Whitetail Rendezvous, you've just been a joy. I've been smiling, and I heard the emotion in your voice. And it's been a pleasure, sir.
Yes, sir. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and give to your Salvation Army. That's a great organization.
Hey, folks, stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to head down to Willis, Texas and visit with Mitchell Ray. Now, Mitchell Ray loves to hunt at Big Woods on the Trinity. If you've ever hunted there, it's a pure joy. He's going to talk about rattling. And down at Big Woods, they've got a 1-to-1 ratio, and he says he can rattle in at the right time of the season, a number of bucks. And he's going to talk about the biggest buck he took down there. And also he's going to talk about his new product, Stratus Support Systems. Going to be a great show. Listen up.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.